And
God,
hello.
that intro's sick, dude. Every time it gets me hype.
I know, I love it. It's really good.
Was that a
Hello
Fiverr
there,
purchase?
everyone.
If so, it was
Huh?
a very, very good one.
No, I made that one.
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. The other one I have is a Fiverr purchase. The logo is a Fiverr purchase. What else? I bought a lot of stuff.
Fiverr, sponsor the Force Collective now, please.
Sponsor me, please. Nah, we're good. Greetings, everybody. This is Shade. Welcome to the Force Collective. I'm on here with Psycho and Commander Tano. Say hello, guys.
Hello,
What's
guys.
up? It's good to be back in the saddle. I've been away for a few weeks.
And you'll be away again in just a few minutes, but that's okay. You'll be back.
Yeah. I'm going to the doctor, so I'm gonna dip out and then probably come back. Hopefully, this stream is still underway. When I
Oh,
get
yeah.
out of the doctor. But if not, I'm sure that my co-hosts are more than capable of dealing with that situation.
Oh, yeah, of course. Of course.
Professionals right here.
Exactly. So while we're talking, I'm just going to be drawing some stuff. I don't know how well it's going to show on the other end, but I'm just going to, because I've not been drawing like I should, so I need to start working on it. So we're really mostly just chilling today. Let's see. But I did also want to talk about Bad Batch, like the latest episode and some things that it's confirmed. Oh, by the way, hello there, Chrono. How you doing? Yeah.
Joining us as always, our loyal, our loyal friend Chrono.
Yeah. Exactly. He is one of the most loyal people I'd ever seen.
Day one, dude. Day one, right there.
All right. So, I'm going to have you guys tell me what you thought of Bad Batch, the latest episode. I'll go ahead and start with you, Commander Tano, since you're next on the screen here.
Yeah, I'm in a little bit of I'm still in a bit of a haze. This has been a busy week, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it's kind of, um, I would say my comments are probably similar to last week. It's like I enjoyed it. I'm kind of in this state of anxiety of like I want them all to be okay at the end of this season. I want them to get Crosshair back. I don't want anyone to die. So I'm kind of like I'm in this like state where it's like, okay, this has been fun so far, but I'm worried there's gonna be something that will upset me later.
Yeah. I think it was 2 episodes back, Wrecker hit his head and he's still hurting. So they're foreshadowing something coming with Wrecker, but I don't know what it is. But I'm not liking the idea of what it can be. What do you think that is?
Oh God, I don't know, dude.
I think his chip is going to work.
And the problem with that is how aggressive is he going to get? Like, I'm afraid to see what he can do.
I'm afraid of that as well. What do you guys think about the Rancor tie-in that was kind of unnecessary but kind of cool in my opinion?
I thought it was okay. I mean,
I don't necessarily know. Like I said, like I don't necessarily know that we needed it, but it was like when I realized what was going on, like it was funny because when I was watching the episode, I was like, man, that Rancor looks like it's about the right age. What if that's the one that Luke kills in Jedi? And then like I saw Bib walk in, and I was like, wait a second, I called this. I totally called this.
Well, I heard some people were mad about it. I don't know what to think about. I mean, it was a pretty good episode.
Yeah, I thought so as well.
So I have no complaints.
Yeah, that's kind of the same way I feel too. I don't really care. I thought it was kind of cool. But I mean, like, it's definitely not anything that I would consider something to be mad about.
Yeah. Honestly, what I'm more worried about is what's going to happen with Wrecker. And another thing, do you guys think that it's going to end up happening to all of them at some point? Something like that?
That's an interesting idea. I would. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. It would kind of be interesting to see that play out.
Yeah. That's
That's a
true.
possibility. I mean, or it happening to most of them, but one. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Here's a question. I was just thinking, like, does Echo even have his chip still? Because, and then they didn't seem to answer this question whether he had it still or not. But I was thinking, like, it could be possible that it was just removed completely.
Yeah. I honestly think that he still has it because they seem to imply more that he does have it rather than not having it. The only thing that they say is that where he was so damaged, it doesn't work anymore. That's really what I was getting out of it.
Yeah, it's in the whole series they've been talking more not so much about the chips as they've been talking about just programming.
Yep.
It's like, oh, let's see if we can boost the programming and Crosshair. There's more talk of that. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Which, not gonna lie, Echo, I feel like it should have been removed because it seems like they've done a lot of work to his head. There could have been parts of his brain that were removed, but
That's why I was wondering that. Yeah.
I mean, he don't act like that is the case, but that's what it feels like. It feels like he should have had some parts of his head removed. I mean, you can see little pieces of metal sticking out of his head. So I would assume that either it's still there and it just don't work because that's what they seem to imply, or it's been fully removed and they just have no idea. I mean, that's what I'm going with. But man, I'm still worried about Wrecker. Like that really got me when he started holding his head. I'm like, oh no, they are doing something with him like that now.
I started to get super concerned too.
And the thing is, I have a feeling that they'll make it right with him and all that stuff. They'll be able to fix it somehow. And maybe this will also lead into them figuring out a way to save Crosshair. But there's also that little nagging possibility that he won't be all right, and that it's going to cause a lot of issues that I would rather not worry about so much. But it's it's just at this point just us wondering what's going to happen next.
I think the whole chain codes thing is really interesting. Like, I'm really enjoying seeing this like switch over of things between like the Republic and the Empire. I think it's really their ability to give you like context and like throw lore at you without feeling like you're overwhelmed or like that they're just giving you all this like exposition all at once. I don't know. I really have been enjoying their way of portraying that so far.
Yeah. I've been watching Rebels recently. I think I've probably said something about this before, but seeing how they're representing the Empire in Bad Batch as opposed to Rebels makes them a lot more intimidating. And I really do appreciate that fact. Which, don't get me wrong, I like Rebels. I've really enjoyed watching it over the last few days, but it still just doesn't represent the Empire in the way I think it needs to be represented.
I would agree. I would definitely agree with that notion.
Same.
Yeah, because they talk about how intimidating the Empire is and how scary it is and how ruthless they are. But then you see Rebels where these stormtroopers are just like clowns. All they need is
Yeah,
a big red
it's
nose
kind of it feels
on their
almost
helmet.
like they've carried over the sort of comical relief side of the droids from the Clone Wars over to Rebels, and I just don't think it really worked the same way.
Well, what really brought my attention to it is I was watching season 2, The Lost Commanders and Relics of the Old Republic, and Rex is like, I hope you have a better class of soldier than those stormtroopers. And he's like, I think Callus is the one. Yeah, he's like, they serve the Empire well. And I'm thinking, well, well, I don't know about that.
It's very arguable, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of examples why that is false, but we'll let Callus believe that he's right. But yeah, I really do appreciate what they're doing, and honestly, this also brings up an idea: are Disney trying to stray away from like super kiddie type shows? Because Star Wars Resistance, in my opinion, I think failed. I think it went on for only one season, and it's one of those types of kid shows. Rebels didn't fail, but they only went on for 4 seasons. And I do like that they're going to try to continue the storyline of Rebels because it is pretty interesting what they were doing with it. But they dumbed it down for kids, and it probably didn't do as good as the Clone Wars did. So I think they're trying to move away from that kind of thing. Oh, sorry, Elway's here. I must have not realized that he's here. Hi.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm so sorry. I completely slept in.
You're not the only one. I sent that link really
You're good, man. We're just glad to have you.
Woke up
Thanks.
like 10 minutes before the stream, and I'm like, oh, dear Lord, I got to get in here.
Is
And
Shade still there? I can't hear him.
Huh? Oh, you can't hear me? Hello? Do you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. What about you, Psycho? You said you couldn't hear me. I think Psycho's having some mic issues.
Yeah.
Or some issues. Because he said he can't
geez.
hear me, but I hear him.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to DDoS him by coming in.
It's okay. Let's see. I don't know if removing him and then adding him back in will fix it. Did that do anything? Probably not.
We'll find out.
Okay. Before I continue on with what I was going to say, in Rebels, the Empire is only intimidating when Thrawn is in charge. Otherwise, they feel like generic bad guys. Yes, exactly. Thrawn, by far, made the Empire much more intimidating and much more effective in Rebels. And I really do appreciate them adding Thrawn into it. He is my favorite Imperial villain that isn't a Sith Lord. So, I really do have a soft spot for Thrawn. Okay, so we were talking about Bad Batch. You got anything to say about it, Sir AOA?
Well, we'll just with a little bit that you guys were talking about. I think one of the main reasons why the Empire and the Bad Batch seems to be as intimidating as it is compared to Rebels is, well, the Empire is mostly made of clone troopers at the moment, so
Yes.
you're still in that sort of transfer period of competent army into conscription, which isn't competent, and then you could probably say that Thrawn comes in and makes it more competent type of thing. So that's possibly an explanation of why we have that sort of situation happening.
I got another question, another interesting one, because I don't think I've ever said anything about it, but I just started thinking about it the other day when I was watching Rebels. Do you think that we'll get to see Gregor show up in this show?
Maybe.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I can
mean,
literally hear everyone but Shade, and I'm starting to get mad, bro. What is going on?
Wow. I wonder what's going on.
Weird.
Because I'm right next to my mic and I'm speaking, but he doesn't hear me. Huh. There's some weird sound issues going on. Is anybody else having an issue?
Nope.
Nope, no issues here.
What about you, Chrono? Do you hear me pretty good? Well, while I'm waiting for that answer. Oh, back to what I was saying. So, I think they're moving away from making like kid shows, even though it's still sort of okay. Thank you, Chrono. He hears me too. They're trying to move away from like super kid friendly shows to like somewhat mature shows, which I think is a lot better. The audience for Star Wars has grown a lot, so they need to have some stuff for the grown audience as well. But the Clone Wars isn't just for adults; it can be for kids, in my opinion. It might be a little more mature, but it is not so mature that a kid can't watch it.
There's a difference between family and kid, and
Well,
I
yeah.
think I think
True.
Bad
True.
Batch is very much sort of family.
Yeah.
You know, something that the kids can watch and the adults can watch and the teenagers can watch.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about this today, with Avatar: The Last Airbender, actually, because I feel like I watched that show as a kid and enjoyed it. It was great. And then so years later I revisited it as an adult thinking like this is one of my favorite, childhood shows. Let's see what this has to offer. And it's so rich with lessons and wisdom that made me realize like this isn't at all like a show necessarily like for kids specifically. Like this is a show for anyone that wants to enjoy themselves and maybe learn something valuable along the way. So I definitely think that Bad Batch is within that same school of thought.
And then Cora came in and went Edge.
Yeah, yeah. I got to season 2 of Korra, and then I was just like, I just can't do it. Like, I'm just not interested. I want to be, but I'm not.
Well,
it very much Cora very much suffered from the CW curse, where everything needs to be a love triangle and everything needs to be drama and everything just needs to be, sort of high school craziness.
Yeah, that's really frustrating and disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah.
And it's sort of one of those situations. No, I'm just gonna leave it there because, frankly, we'll get so off topic and get into a real sort of crap show if we continue down that pathway.
Well, with that said, as far as the Bad Batch is going now, it's very interesting, and I'm really excited to see what it's going to bring for this episode tomorrow. Any predictions for tomorrow? Anybody?
I think I feel like we're due to see a little bit more of Crosshair committing war crimes.
Yeah, that's true. We ain't seen him in like 2 episodes, right?
Yeah. And yeah, and on a related note, it is probably been you all probably talked about this before and I've not been around, but I really first of all, it sounds awful, but I like that they're making him commit war crimes, like that they're willing to go there and show that. But the other thing is, on the flip side, what I really, really hope they don't do, maybe other people can think otherwise. I felt this way about other Star Wars stories too. I really hope they don't try to like give Crosshair redemption death. I don't want that. Like, I get that those things have their place, but I feel sometimes it's like that's just lazy writing. I'd rather like see characters actually deal with things they've done. And in Crosshair's case, it's like it's not actually him doing the stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that.
But would you really have I couldn't see Crosshair really sort of I guess you could say freaking out about what he's done type situation. I mean, he's a soldier, a sniper. It so far everything that he's been doing seems like right up his character's alleyway.
That's what makes it so interesting. Is and that's part of why I don't want a redemption death. I want like significant time with him without the chip working, because I'm really curious about that. I feel like just kind of quickly killing him off would be too convenient. Because there is, on the one hand, they've been kind of in the narrative it's been kind of emphasized that, oh, this is the chip doing it. We'll get him back. We'll fix him. But on the other hand, and I think people rightly noted, out of all of the members of that group, if you ask like who is the one that would be most likely just no chip to shoot up a bunch of civilians, like I'd go with Crosshair. Just like, not that I think that he'd have that proclivity, but I'm just saying that it would be the least. It would, of all of them, he would have to make the shortest leap to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with that. The thing about Crosshair, I like him, but like he was my least favorite of the Bad Batch. So, and I'm sure that a lot of people probably agree with me on his character, but maybe they just haven't given him enough time to develop. But if they were to do something like that, I don't know. I don't know how I'd feel, but I really want to have more of him, like you said, without the inhibitor chip, messing with his brain. So
I'd like to know what's actually going, like how much of what he's doing, like what percentage of that is the chip and what percentage is him, if that makes sense. Because that's the other interesting thing in general. Like, and you got this with the season 7 of the Clone Wars, kind of the lore they're adding to the chips in Order 66, where it's like 99% it's the chip doing it, but they also seem to be acknowledging, like with Rex, it took him a little bit of time, and he tried to kind of tell Ahsoka what was happening to him before the chip took over. There seems to be some element of like personal agency that can kind of either interfere, fight against that or not. And so it kind of makes you wonder, is it with the Bad Batch and how is it that Crosshair's chip was kind of working because of him, or was it because of just the chips and the others were just malfunctioning and his wasn't? You know what I mean? Like how much of all this is him?
That's a really good question to pose, and honestly, they didn't explore enough of that in season 7. Like they sort of gave a little bit of thought to that when they got Rex out of that trance that he was in because of it's not a trance, but you know what I mean. Basically, when they removed the chip from his head, they sort of expanded on, I guess, what the clone was feeling at that moment. And by that I mean he mentions that he almost killed her. No, so he knew what he was doing. So I'd like to know exactly what this chip is actually doing to a clone instead of just getting like one brief line of them saying, "Oh, well, I was doing this. Oh my goodness, I'm sorry." But the chips seem to amplify their aggressive behavior and also make them more obedient. So I'm thinking that we'll learn a little more about how the inhibitor chips work as this whole thing goes on. But it'd sort of be interesting to know whether it's more of like an amplifier of certain personality traits, or if it's just something that changes their personality all together, because the clones are different in this series than they were in the Clone Wars. You can tell it just by the way they make them act. They act so much more aggressive. So I'm thinking it increases aggressive behavior for the most part, though.
Yeah, that could be. I think that it's also interesting what you brought up. You know, when Rex says afterwards, like, "I almost killed you," because it's almost feels like when he's describing that, like he was sitting watching a movie, like during the time where the chip was in, and then when it was out, it's like. But yeah, so it'd be really interesting to see what they do with this and what answers they might provide to some of these questions.
Yeah. Let me think. I didn't have much planned for this stream, so if you got anything else you want to talk about as well, you can go ahead and bring that up. And it can be Star Wars related, or it doesn't have to be. But if we're done discussing Bad Batch, then we can move on to something else. Unless you got some other points you want to bring up.
I don't know if this has been brought up.
Okay.
But the baby Rancor.
It has, but we didn't talk much about it. What do you want to say?
I just reckon it was just cool because we all know what happened to that baby Rancor.
See, I found it a little funny that they were trying to give us a little bit of a backstory to it because, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a cool concept to give us a backstory to certain things in the original trilogy. It just made us want to care about that thing a little bit. That's what I think. And I didn't like that because I know what's going to happen to it. So I don't want to care about it, but I started liking the Rancor. So I didn't want to care about it, though, because I knew what was going to happen to it after I figured out who the Rancor was or what movie it showed up in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But I mean, the thing is that by law, the Rancor that we saw in the Bad Batch was more in line with the lore behind the Rancors.
Yeah.
Well, they try, Chrono. They try. Doesn't mean they succeed.
Yeah.
Quilla DeVille.
I've been neglecting the comment section. I've been drawing and I forgot.
But
let's see.
Oh God, where was I going?
Something about lore. Rancor lore.
Oh yeah. But I mean, the thing is that, you know, how many animals are sort of absolute sweethearts in till you rile them up, at which point they'll want to tear you in half.
True.
Loads. So, the rancor that we see in the original trilogy, could just be what was its name again?
Moochie.
Yeah, that's it. It could just be Moochie just got a cattle prod in the ass and wanted to take it out on Luke.
Yeah.
And the one thing you do have to remember is that you had that big guy that when saw the Rancor or saw Moochie dead, started bubbling, essentially crying. So, and I mean, Moochie did go on a bit of a rampage and throw around the slavers with no problem. So if you piss off a Rancor, you expect to be thrown around like a ragdoll. But if you treat it with kindness and respect, you get to ride it.
True.
So I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but for me, it was a big case of it didn't exactly break the story or break the lore for me. It was just sort of a cool behind the scenes look type situation, I guess, where I'm trying to get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, the more I talk about it, the more I actually start liking it, because it is cool that they did an origin for the Rancor, and it also brings up some questions. Why was it so aggressive in Episode 6? Did they train it to be that aggressive? I know it was a sort of aggressive, but it seemed like it was a little more caring too in Bad Batch. But in Episode 6, it just goes all out for Luke. So
yeah, but I mean, when you have creatures that are very dominant based, if they're in the dominant role, they're really aggressive and really, I mean, you just have to look at dogs. If you are the dominant in the relationship, they're absolute puppies. But if they're the dominant, they can be absolute little brats. And in a lot of cases, a lot of that does come in the way of aggression and all that type of stuff.
true.
So it's just sort of a case of, if Luke had have done a Wrecker and beat it down into submission, maybe it would have licked him instead of tried to eat him. But he wouldn't have had the chance to do that. So down comes the door.
The other thing too is just I think this is just also a symptom of the fact that the original trilogy and that lens you get from it, it's like you get this little group of good guys and everything else is kind of an obstacle or an antagonist, and there's nothing wrong with that. But Bad Batch is more of a Clone Wars kind of lens with its views on character morality and so forth. And so I think that's just the nature of it. Just things in the original trilogy era that are going to seem evil or menacing or intimidating. In the prequel trilogy era, it typically is more nuanced than that. I think some of it just boils down to that.
That's true. Before I move on with the conversation, I'm going to go through some of the comments that I've missed here. Hey, Lizzle, nice of you to join us. Chrono says she wasn't a baby. She was an adolescent Rancor. Also, she is not the same Rancor Luke fights. Really? I thought.
Oh, okay.
I was under the impression the entire time that was the same one. Well, which one does Luke fight then? Why did they make a reference to it if it isn't the one that Luke fights?
Jabba must have a menagerie of Rancors.
He must have. I mean, I guess it's not hard to imagine.
It's like if you have dogs, you don't just have one dog or one cat. People,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Usually two there are.
Well, this has just made the conversation that just patch of talking absolutely pointless now.
Yeah, true.
Jabba could be like the crazy cat lady, but for Rancors.
The crazy cat lady, but for basically the crazy Rancor lady. So, do you think that they're going to end up becoming mercenaries? Because I think they're sort of alluding to that with Sid. I think that's a pretty cool way to take the story.
Well, at least for the time being.
Yeah.
I mean, a clone's got to eat.
That's true. I had something else I wanted to go to, but I completely forgot. Let me think. What is so important about Omega? What do you guys think?
I want to say, like force-sensitive clone experiment, but I feel like that would be too
on the nose.
It could. Yeah, it could be that. It could very well be that. But I almost feel like I feel like they're putting in clues to make us think that, like between kind of her kind of empathic abilities and kind of her ability to pick up a blaster and have really good aim and stuff like that sprinkled throughout, because she doesn't seem to have just one ability, but they seem to emphasize particularly kind of this mind reading ability. So I feel like that's what they want us to think, and I think they kind of expect, this audience is used to kind of following the trail of breadcrumbs via the Mandalorian, and so they should expect this. But maybe it's something different. Who knows?
Yeah. From what it seemed like, they talk like they that she how do I put this? I think they don't just need her though. Like, she's the most important one, but I have a feeling they don't just need her if they want to create a new clone army that is, I guess, worthy of the Emperor to use. Because it seemed like they were talking about they have to have her her and the Bad Batch. Now I could have been reading this wrong, but it seems like she has to have, or whatever her name. I think Nala Sue. I think that's
I thought it was said that we only need one.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. Although it's interesting that it seems that at least with Fennec having specifically her as a target, they specifically want her. And so the other thing that I think is worth kind of noting is, if let's say that Omega is a force sensitive clone experiment,
yeah.
I think this, and I could be wrong, if that's the case, I think this is something that strictly the Kaminoans are testing out, because I don't see Palpatine wanting an army of those. I think part of the thing with Palpatine is that, like, if he's interested in cloning, it's more just to preserve himself. I don't think he's interested in having potential rivals. You know, it's like with Order 66. He didn't just have to get rid of the Jedi. He had to make sure he tried to get rid of Maul too. He just doesn't want Force users that he can't control.
That's true. That's true.
But wouldn't he be able to control the clones though? Especially if you got the chips in their heads.
But that's the thing. That's what and it'll be interesting to see where the season goes with that, because I think the reason why they eventually, whether they address this in the season or not, why they eventually go to recruited soldiers as opposed to clones, because you would think like that if you could just use these chips, perfect, you've got this army that you can control and do what you will. But I think what, or at least may be occurring to Tarkin, is that you can't necessarily guarantee that the chips work, and once they stop working, they stop. Versus, I think if you can recruit someone, in order to recruit someone to your army, to your cause, you, in a way, that their loyalty is much more assured, because it was actually an organic process that they came to believe that, your organization is in the right and they want to work for you and all that, as opposed to if you're just creating someone from scratch and just put a chip in their head.
True.
And I think the other thing is I think, and this is going off topic, but I think the other thing, the reason for the eventual switch to a conscripted army, even if they end up like rebel stormtroopers and incompetent, I think that's also the thing, is I think Tarkin kind of fears competence, because it's like you can't necessarily guarantee that you will have control over an individual. But one thing you want, if you lose control of that individual or that army, you don't want them to be competent. If you get what I mean. It's like...
Yeah, I get you.
And I mean, you've got to remember what the sort of Tarquin... I don't think I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Tarkin?
Yeah, the Tarkin doctrine is pretty much all based around Star Destroyers. It's not based around having having an army that can land on a planet and take it over. It's sort of a case of, you submit or we glass you. It's not really sort of, hey, well, just fire a few cannons and then land troops. No, they'll just sit there and just bombard you until you submit.
Yeah.
True.
Very intimidating that way.
So you don't need a competent army. You just need meat shields. And I mean, it's the same with the TIEs. They kind of have the droid army view when it comes to TIE fighters of, let's just build a whole lot. Doesn't matter if none of them come back. Because, the Star Destroyers are meant to obliterate everything.
Yeah.
The TIE fighters are just meat shields in space.
Metal meat shields.
Or, meat shields wrapped up in metal shields.
Yeah, I mean, either way, it's still there. You're right though about Tarkin and the Tarkin doctrine. The thing about Tarkin is that he's more for how how do I say it? He's trying to find the cheapest way to do a job efficiently. Because I guess cloning is expensive. That's that's one thing that you got to think about is that he's trying to find a cheaper way to do it as well. Also, he doesn't trust clones, and maybe it's for the fact that Palpatine had used clones to turn against their Jedi generals, that they can be like, well, if we can turn them against them, then what's to stop them from turning against us?
Yep. And I believe there was meant to be an order inside the chips that would eliminate him.
Yeah.
So you kind of don't want an army that that sort of has that. And granted, the people that knew that have just been eliminated, but
yeah,
I think also there, I think Tarkin realizes, the situation he's in, having the Kaminoans, having someone else make it, manufacture his army for him. You would always just kind of, from his perspective, you'd always just be wondering, like, have the Kaminoans put some secret orders in these soldiers so that they can eliminate me if they decide at any point.
That's a good point too.
Yeah, so I think it all does fit. In addition to just
you're really muffled.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. In addition to the cost of manufacturing people from scratch, there is also just the cost of, if you have a competent army that turns against you, that comes with a higher cost than if you have an incompetent army that turns against you.
True.
And so it's like you better off just sink your money into technology and star destroyers and things like that to blow up planets and
yeah.
And
like another thing about an incompetent army, Kronos says an incompetent army is still good enough to deter most people to not go against you. True. So, I mean, as long as they look intimidating and as long as they have like this propaganda going on and all this stuff that makes them sound even stronger than what they might possibly be, they're going to be less likely to go up against you anyway.
Not only that, for a clone to get onto the front line, it's 9 years of training.
Mm-hmm.
For you to train a soldier, 1 or 2 years.
That's true. They train clones from birth, but even with the growth acceleration, that they're having to produce them and take years to make them ready, as opposed to a conscripted soldier, which could take, like you said, about a couple years to train one, and they don't have to be grown; they're already there. So that's another thing that I didn't consider.
Oh, hang on, what was it? And the thing is that and this is something that the Empire moved into, is that when it came to the clones, they were all trained to be independent and individuals.
Mm-hmm.
Where everything that comes down to stormtroopers is to remove individuality.
Uh-huh.
And one of the main reasons why, if you were the Emperor, you would want that, is that when you de-individuate a human being, it's easier for them to do really horrible shit. Oops, sorry.
I mean, you're right, though.
So busting down the door, massacring a family becomes a little bit easier.
Yep.
Well, I mean, you just have to look at episode 1. Bad Batch goes down to Sol Guerrera's little camps and go, these ain't droids. These ain't the droids we're looking for. And then Crosshair goes back with the troopers and pretty much goes, yeah, no, you're executing them. One of them goes, no, we're not. Crosshair shoots him and goes, yes, you are. And the others go, okay, open fire.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I would not be surprised if a lot of the clone troopers would have acted more like the rest of the Bad Batch than the stormtroopers.
That's probably true. I mean, even with their inhibitor chips and the way their personality has changed, do you think they would have stooped so low as to shoot civilians like that?
Nope.
I mean, I can sort of see it due to their personality change and the way the inhibitor chip seems to have affected their minds. But I still feel like it would be a little more difficult to convince one of them to do it rather than a conscripted soldier that's been brainwashed, basically.
To put it really simply, if the civilians had picked up a gun and started firing, there would have been no hesitation.
Well, yeah.
But to, sit there and have kneeling, surrendered people and open fire, I don't think the clones would have done that. Well, sorry. I don't think any of the clones that had been fighting the war for so long would have done that. I'm not too sure about the ones that have just come out of the oven, but...
out of the oven.
I
mean, you were not wrong.
But yeah, so I don't see.
And another thing to think about when it comes to a conscripted army versus a clone army, and you guys have already sort of touched on it, but I want to just take it another step further. The fact that they might have implanted something or whatever that makes them turn against the Empire. I'm thinking that another reason could be because or another reason why they want to go with the conscripted army is because they might not trust the Kaminoans or Kaminoans.
Yeah.
And that's another thing to think about because I keep bringing up the Clone Rebellion on Kamino. That was originally canon at one point. I'm thinking they might go that route, and that might be why they're putting all this mistrust in the clone army in here and trying to make the Kaminoans either try to prove themselves or maybe... Well, what I think might happen with the Clone Rebellion is that maybe they do figure out how to make this special clone that they think will make the Empire want to keep them as their provider of clones. But in the end, the Empire might be like, no, that was wrong of you to make that kind of clone. Stop production now or you will be destroyed. And then Kamino's like, nah, we'll just produce more and fight you. I mean, that's a simplified version, but...
No, it makes sense. That's one part of this show that I find so interesting is all the kind of the politicking with Tarkin and Kamino, and I'm curious where that'll end up. I'm also curious about, more specifically, I'm curious about Nala Se and kind of her helping Omega escape, and because at least from what I remember from the Fives Order 66 arc, like she was pretty
ruthless.
Yeah, she was really callous. And so I was kind of surprised by all that.
Yeah, I didn't know what to think either. I forgot to mention that. That's odd, and it seems like it's out of her character to do something like that.
I mean, maybe she changed in that kind of interval, and I guess, kind of whenever Omega was born, and just kind of maybe something just kind of snapped in her, like, oh, this is my child. But yeah, it is really weird and out of character, and I'm curious. I'm curious if they're going to revisit that later in the season.
Well, another thing to think about, because it seems like Lama Su, the main Kaminoan, I think that's his name. Am I right? The main Kaminoan. Yeah. He seemed to have known about their, or not known about it, but seemed like he was okay with their escape. Like maybe they were in on that together. Maybe they wanted them to escape, or the Bad Batch and Omega to escape. I'm just trying to read the signs that I think I'm seeing, but it just seemed like they wanted them to escape.
I think in the case of Lama Su, I think, because I remember that conversation at the end of the first episode where she tells them that they escaped with Omega, and he says, well, until anyone asks, just say nothing. It could be that one reason he's just saying, just say nothing is he may not want Tarkin to hear about. I think he wants Tarkin to feel that they can create clones for him that are guaranteed to obey him. He doesn't want for Tarkin to hear about disobedient clones, or to hear about, it also kind of looks bad for Crosshair failed to kill them all. So it's like, so I think there's also a bit of just Lama Su recognizing he's got a product to sell, and he'd rather the defective product just go away.
Well, another thing to consider with that conversation, and you might be right, but there's also like, doesn't Tarkin already know that they aren't there, like they escaped? I mean, wouldn't he find out through, like, let's say Crosshair or the imperial conscripted soldiers that he had commissioned? I mean, you'd think that he would find out at least through them if they report to him.
Yeah, but I don't know if those soldiers that were conscripted out, because they kind of showed up on the scene after that, I don't know if they would have been aware, and maybe Crosshair would have reported, but on the other hand, I don't think anyone's going to want to report a failure to Tarkin.
True.
Because that looks bad. Because also, and this is where there's the element of Crosshair that's still there. Like, I think Crosshair probably likes being in charge, and I don't think he would report to Tarkin a failure to kill them off.
Well,
so, yeah, I don't know, but yeah, there could be more to it with Lama Su as well. But who knows?
Well, let me say this. Okay, so Echo earlier in that first episode mentions that Tarkin doesn't know about the fifth clone with, an enhanced ability. He was thinking that Echo was one of them that had that enhanced ability. So what if Omega is the one they didn't want known to be missing? I mean, because I'm thinking that let's say Crosshair does report that he failed to wipe out the Bad Batch. I don't think Crosshair actually knows much about Omega, and not only that, but I don't know if he knew. Well, no, he did know that she was there with him. Never mind. But let me say it like this: Tarkin doesn't know anything about Omega's abilities, whatever her abilities may be. And Nala Se, I think that's her name. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, she hasn't told Tarkin about what her abilities are. Tarkin is just automatically assuming that Crosshair, Wrecker, Hunter, Tech, and Echo are the only clones with those enhanced traits or abilities or whatever they said they were. Genetic enhancements, yeah. So he doesn't know anything about Omega. He's probably only seen her, but never actually was told about what she was or what ability she has. So I'm thinking that if Tarkin does know that the Bad Batch is gone, he doesn't know that Omega happens to be the 5th clone that has that type of genetic modification. So I think she's the most important one when it comes to knowing which one has like those genetic modifications. To Tarkin, that is, it would be probably more important to know about her. But where he doesn't, and where they won't say anything, that's the thing that I think he don't know about. He probably knows about the Bad Batch, and that's my opinion. He probably knows about them escaping, but he doesn't know anything about Omega. Is what I'm trying to say.
A question that just popped into my mind related to this, and I need to, if I don't say it, I'll forget it. I'm curious what you both think about this. So, who hired Fennec? Because the reason I have this question is obviously not the Empire, because Tarkin isn't aware of what Omega is. I feel like it isn't Camino, because that seems like the obvious answer. So they're just sending a bounty hunter to find Omega. But the fact that with Fennec and whoever's commissioned Fennec, they seem to be making a point, we don't know who this is. So who is it? Who would it be if it's not Camino?
That's a good question. And
but I mean the thing is that they it's Sid, right? The
Sid the Trandoshan. Yeah.
It doesn't. Well, I mean the thing is that no one says that it's a complete unknown. It's just that seeing how it didn't go through the guild, no one knows. So I don't see why it wouldn't be the Kaminoans when it's just sort of a case of seeing how they went directly to the person.
Right.
There's no paperwork or paper trail.
And it would make sense for the Kaminoans to not want the Empire to find Omega. Like they want to find her, so they would go through unofficial channels. So it could be that. I guess the reason I have that question is because just from a narrative standpoint and how they've kind of scripted and blocked it all, it's like they're making a point of we don't know, like when Fennec is talking to someone else, not in the scene about about the target. Yeah. It seems like they want us to ask that question. It could just be Camino, or maybe it could be Camino through a middleman through Fennec, and it could be something like that. But yeah, they seem to be making much of whoever Fennec is working for.
This might be a far out way of doing it, or not far. This might be a far out guess at who it is, and I'm not saying I believe who the one that contracted her is. But what if it was Boba Fett? What if he knows about Omega somehow?
That would be interesting too, given that they're related.
Or it could just be a simple case of Kaminoans went through Boba Fett, and Boba Fett put Fennec on it.
Yeah, I actually think that would make sense because, the Kaminoans, they're familiar with the Fets.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that would make sense.
I mean, Boba Fett is a clone, technically. So he might have an actual chance at bringing Omega back to the Kaminoans if Boba Fett is working for them. He might just take off his helmet and start talking to her like he would, or like anybody would a lost child or something like that, and show that he is related to her, and maybe prove that he's different than those other clones or whatever. Just like the Bad Batch is different from the other clones that joined the Empire. So you never know. I mean, he might have a way of sweet talking her. I mean, that's just one way to look at it, I guess. I don't know.
No, I just like your choice of words.
Did I say something stupid again?
No. Just the thought of teenage Boba Fett sweet talking.
Look, you're making it weird. You're the one making it weird, not me. There's multiple meanings to that, and sweet talking does not honestly mean flirting. Okay.
Hey! I'm just purely going by ages here. It would kind of.
I mean, they use that in all other types of situations too. I've heard it in multiple situations.
Oh no, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just sort of saying, Boba Fett and Omega would probably be in the same age range.
Yeah, but they're related.
No one said that they use the same. Oh well, yeah.
They did. Yeah, they did. Look, you're trying to make this into something it isn't. Stop it.
You're all called brothers for a reason.
Yeah.
No. But I mean, the thing is that
Yeah, I get what you mean though. It's
they could have been using a completely different genetic template, but then I went, oh wait, hang on a second. There's a reason why they got a Kiwi to do the voice. So yeah, it would probably be more brother and sister.
Yeah.
Then but yeah, no, I just went completely on the sort of tangent of different looking clones, so not the same. Oh wait, hang on a second. And then sort of remembered and went, oh wait, hang on, this line of thought's probably not the best way of going down. not the best track to be chugging along on.
This feels more like a Star Wars Topics episode than anything.
Yeah.
I should have just made this a Star Wars Topics. I struggled to find a really good topic for this one, so I just wanted to chill out and talk about random stuff. But here we are making it into a topics episode.
Well, the thing is though is that this is just a review of the Bad Batch, and we've just been going down the rabbit hole, and
yeah, that's true.
We kind of haven't popped our heads out of the rabbit hole.
Yeah, or the Geonosian catacombs. We can put it that way too.
Yep.
Yeah. Those Geonosian catacombs, you can get lost in there.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I did put in the title that we were going to have a Bad Batch discussion anyway, but it still just feels like a topics episode. I don't know why. Well,
have we finished with the Bad Batch? Because there is actually something I did want to bring up.
I mean, we really talked about it, as far as I know, in depth. We went over a lot of other things. So if you want to talk about something else, or if you got something you need to bring up, go ahead.
Well, I was just hoping that Commander Tano would be able to help me with something. And I'm, it's a 50-50 type of situation. But I got into this Twitter thread, And hang on, I'll read out what the Twitter topic was. Do you think you'd be invested in Star Wars now if the sequel trilogy didn't exist? I'll actually now that's not where I'm wanting to go with this discussion. But I will say what I tweeted. Nope. The sequel trilogy has made me invested. Oh wow, that was a badly written tweet. The movies, made me invested that movies like this never see the light of day. They epitomize everything wrong with Hollywood and their treatment of geek culture and make me lose hope for humanity just a little bit every so often. But that's not what really made me question, like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What made me sort of go, what the hell, is all the people that went, oh, it made me a Star Wars fan because of Adam Driver or Ben Solo or all of that. And this is where I'm hoping Commander Tano can help me, because everyone that said that had one thing in common. I'll give everyone 3 guesses on what the commonality to all these Twitter accounts were.
I honestly, I'm afraid to guess because I'll get myself canceled. What was the common? Tell us what was so common.
They were all members of the fairer sex.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually thinking going there. Okay.
So I'm, if you have any insights on what the hell, if you don't, it's completely fine, and we
I'll
can
say
just.
this. Number one, I'd love to ask each of them who's like, oh yes, I'm. First of all, this is not. I think Adam Driver did a great job with what he was given. Given what
I
he
would
was
agree with
given
that.
Ben Solo, I think most people agree with that. On the other hand, I think there are things, if I were to write that character, there are things I wouldn't have done that they did do. I wouldn't have
written the character.
If I had that character, it probably wouldn't be recognizable from the version we got. This is another example of kind of this. I feel like that they went through some lazy writing and decided to redemption death Ben Solo, and I felt like that. I didn't feel like they needed to do that. I was actually kind of curious if they could find some way to deal with him, because I feel like they did the ultimate redemption death with Vader. I feel like after a while it just seems like it's cheap when they keep reusing that. But anyways, why? Well, I would say to anyone who responded to that thread that way, like I'm a fan because Adam Driver, I would probably just start asking them some very specific questions about different movies or shows and the lore, and you would probably find that they aren't fans in the sense that they've like saw the sequel movies once, and that was it. Yeah, that's troubling. I don't know what it's the same. It's always there are all these very telling moments where I'd say it proves us right that that Disney is listening to a small group of the fan base that really actually isn't part of the fan base. They're extremely casual fans, if you can even call them fans. I think it's similar to some of these meltdowns that I think people have had over the Bad Batch or other things where I'm kind of like, where have you been? Like, where have you been? Have you ever seen the Clone Wars? Have you ever, like, where were you then? Yeah, I won't go further into it, but this is one of those little head scratcher sort of moments where it's like, no, you say you're a fan, but you can't be. Or just when people say, if someone says that Rey was kind of like the first female Jedi, that kind of thing. Like, this is nothing against, once again, I think Daisy Ridley did a good job with what she was given. I think Rey's character could have been. I could have written a Rey that people would have liked. I could have written a Rose that people would have liked.
A 5-year-old could have written, a trilogy that everyone liked.
Yes. So this is nothing, about against Red, the character, people like that character, but I think when I hear people say that she's like the first female Jedi, or that finally female Jedi representation, I'm like, well, where have you been?
Yeah. Oh, don't worry. That was in the thread as well.
It's like you have just proven that you've proven what people have been saying all along, that you are a casual fan. You don't actually pay much attention at all to any of the stories or the lore. So yeah, it's
Yep.
And so when people, say that people have problems with Rey or problems with Rey's character development, that, they don't like women or something like that, it's like, well, a lot of these same people do like Ahsoka, or they do like other female characters. It's like, you realize that there were other female characters in Star Wars before Rey.
They don't, because they wouldn't say what
Star Wars was a womanless universe before Rey. I just, and it's so I could go on about that, but yeah, it's one of those really telling moments. It's like, you're not a fan. You saw the movie once, you liked that, and now you feel, you're just trolling. That's fine.
Yeah.
Well, one person commented, this is a great question, and my answer is this. Adam Driver took Star Wars to such a high level that it'll be almost impossible to match. He was magnificent. It made the other trilogies pale. So no, I would not be invested in Star Wars without the sequel trilogy.
Okay.
Yet again, I will say this. As actors, they did a great bloody job. That was not the weakness of the sequel trilogies.
It surely wasn't.
Yeah, it's.
But to make the other trilogies pale because of one actor who, hey, I understand what makes women's kitty cats wet because of him. I get that. But yeah.
Okay.
But I'm sorry, to make the other trilogies pale, not even close.
The other thing with that is that I can tell that that's a casual fan because they're just talking about the movies. It's like they have like no awareness of other stuff. All the TV, like what I'd call just serialized Star Wars, which I think I tend to prefer to the movies. Like, I like the movies, but that's just that's funny. Yeah, well, that makes our point.
But yeah,
I've got one thing to say about making all the other trilogies pale in comparison.
Every word of what you just said was wrong.
Yeah, that's all I gotta say about it. Because if I go on about that, I will go on a rant about how bad the sequel trilogy was, and yeah.
I don't understand. And to answer the overall question of that thread, it's like maybe there's something weird and wrong about me. But my big problem with the sequel trilogy is just that it shut more story doors than it opened. It just put this ceiling on Star Wars that.
Yeah.
In terms of what you can do with different characters, I would much if I could write a sequel trilogy for Star Wars, one thing I would be very cautious about is killing off characters, or putting ceilings or walls around their stories, putting boundaries up, and the most obvious way to do that is, of course, killing them off. Then you just can't use them beyond a certain point, or when you use them in kind of earlier period materials, it kind of has this it just puts this damper on things where it's like, oh, I don't feel like I can get invested in Luke anymore because I know what happens to him in the end, or fill in the blank with any character. I would, that's the thing. If they really had wanted to subvert expectations with the sequel trilogy, they should be very cautious about ending characters' stories and actually go and give them a happy indefinite ending, so that you could have the potential to have more stories after that. I don't. That's the thing, I think that's what's so funny with The Last Jedi is like, oh my, it's so like subversive. It's like it actually isn't. There's so much cynical. There's so many cynical storylines out there already. It's like it's kind of generic.
Yes, yes. That's one that when I said that. When I said that all of this has sort of made me just lose a little hope for humanity, that is one of the key reasons that the sequel trilogy really bothers me, is just the absolute cynicism in the story. Because only a cynic would do what they did to Luke. Only a cynic would do what they did to Han and Leia. These aren't making the heroes more human. No, it is completely
there's also this assumption that cynicism equals maturity, which I think is so wrong.
Yeah.
Which makes me ask: have they been around the elderly? Because no. Because the thing is that it makes it's really sort of fascinating how especially in the sort of high energy elderly people, how I don't really want to say it like this, but how childlike they are in it's sort of like they've reached this point of their life where they've sort of gone, oh wait, hang on a second, everything that I thought about being an adult was absolute wrong. Screw it, I'm going to enjoy life while I still have 10 years.
That's true. That is so true.
Yeah, true.
So in a lot of cases, they stop being cynical. They're sort of like, look at these youngins, and by youngins I mean 40-year-olds that still think that getting a sports car was worth it.
I feel like you directed that at me, except I'm not 40.
Oh, no, I didn't direct that at anyone. I was just.
I know. I'm just messing around with you.
I didn't know you wanted a sports car.
No, I have one.
Oh, you have one?
Yes, I have one. That's why I said. I feel like that was because I thought I told you I had one in like the last one. Did I not tell you? Dang it! See, I thought I did. That's why I thought you were directing that.
No, hey, I mean,
That's why I made that joke.
20,
I didn't think
20 something with a sports car. Yeah, no, that completely makes sense. 40-year-old getting a sports car. Yeah, no, that's
unless they're living alone or something like that. I wouldn't see a really good reason to.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean, the thing is that you see it a lot. You see it a lot.
See, I knew I said something about it. Chrono even knows.
Oh, okay. Well, you've got to remember one thing. I'm completely car illiterate, so if you had said something about a Camaro, I'll just nod and say yes, because
just
I don't
look
know.
up the Camaro then, and gaze upon the beauty that is the Camaro. That is by far my favorite vehicle. I also have to react to a specific comment, and you'll know.
Yeah, it took a while.
I was letting you guys get your points across. I didn't want to just interrupt with this. I felt like that would have been slightly inappropriate to just throw that in there while you guys were making your points. So I was waiting for you to get done.
But yeah, so putting cynicism as something that is adult to me is actually that of a child.
Liar!
Sorry,
actually, I'll elaborate that by bringing up something. Oh, damn it! I've forgotten her name now. Oh, that's right.
Go.
Okay. Everyone, of course, knows Miley Cyrus.
Yes. I know Miley Cyrus.
Okay. Remember that song? What was it? That song about partying. I've forgotten what it's called now.
Well, I don't listen to Miley Cyrus. I just know the only song I know that she has sung is "Wrecking Ball," and that's it. That's the only one I know.
She sang a song. It was like her first song as an adult type situation. I think.
Well, I mean, that "Wrecking Ball" and then the songs that she used to sing on Hannah Montana. I might know a couple of those.
Yeah, no, we're definitely not talking about those songs.
No, I know you're not. I just wanted to clarify that I might have known a little more than I let on. But not much.
Wiki, I wanted a list of her songs.
You two know more about her than me.
The only reason the song's sort of in my head is because they bloody played it every bloody second they bloody well could.
Is it a new song?
Not now. Let's be happy. a couple of years now.
Oh, a couple years. Okay.
Hang on a second, I'm just going through the list.
I've not heard anything on Miley Cyrus since Wrecking Ball, and
It was
that's the
before
show.
Wrecking Ball.
It was.
It was before Wrecking Ball.
See, I didn't know. Okay, so when Wrecking Ball came out, that's all they played on literally everything, and that's the only thing that I remember about Miley Cyrus, because that, like, after Hannah Montana on Disney, which I must have seen a few episodes of that or something in my lifetime, because I know about that show, but after that I never heard anything up until Wrecking Ball, so I don't know anything.
Oh God, where is it? Oh wait, hang on a second. I think it's called We Can't Stop. Yes.
Is that what it is?
It's called We Can't Stop. And the reason I bring it up is because the song and the music clip was very much sort of I'm 18 now, so I can do what I want, and I can party and I can do whatever drugs I want, and I can drink as much as I want, and I'm showing that I'm an adult. The problem is that if you listen to the song, it actually proves how much of a teenager she is, because that's a teenager's view on partying.
Yep.
We're gonna drink until we're 2 in the morning. Yeah, if you're gonna drink like that, you're not gonna last 3 hours. You're not even gonna get to 12 if you start at 7. Adults go, oh, I'm gonna have one at 8. I finished my drink. I'm gonna have another one. It's 9:30. Okay, I'm gonna keep on drinking. And oh, hang on, I'm gonna have some water. So, when I wake up in the morning, I'm not gonna have a splitting goddamn headache. If you are going to be partying all night until the break of dawn, you're not going to be drinking everything you can get your hands on in the first half an hour.
What?
That is what a teenager thinks like, not an adult. And it's almost exactly the same with the writing of Star Wars. Oh, this is how an adult thinks. No, this is how a teenager thinks. Which is actually probably why you have so many... Oh my God, Adam Driver! Ah!
There you go. Sorry, it took me a second to find it. I was trying to find it before you did that.
No worries. There you go.
Oh Lord.
But oh God, now I've lost where I was going.
You're too flustered from seeing Adam Driver.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just give me a second. I'm just
Nope.
Oh.
Oh my goodness.
Hey, I'm gonna run with it.
I know you are. That's why I did it.
Oh, hang on a second. Just grabbing the threads back.
Good job.
You were
Thanks-
basically
thanks-
comparing caricatures of what an adult is,
Yeah. But I mean, to throw in another caricature, and this is also what makes me really sad about humanity, is what people think romance is. Well, sorry, I shouldn't say people. The people that are, for a lack of a better word, simping over Adam Driver.
Yes. Don't get me started.
Oh, don't worry. I will, they think that what happened between Rey and Kylo Ren was romantic. They're probably also the people that thought what happened in Twilight was romantic. They're also the people that probably bought the living crap out of 50 Shades of Grey. And it's just sort of a case of I don't even want to call them fantasies, because at least fantasy is based in reality. All of this is a collective bloody delusion, and that isn't romantic. Kylo Ren's a bloody stalker.
What I find so egregious about it all is it would be one thing if we had gotten if the sequels that we had gotten, it was just we just got Rey and Kylo Ren and we had no other relationships to compare that one to. It'd still be bad, but what makes it worse is they had set up in The Force Awakens if they were going to set up Rey with someone, they had set up a good relationship for her with Finn. Like, he was so sweet to her, and it was like, he literally got his, got sliced up by a lightsaber for her, and I just find it so. And the fact that you have a healthy relationship right there, and you were going to deliberately throw that away, and go with
the bad boy.
Yeah.
but I mean, the thing is that if Finn and Rey had have got into a relationship, it would have been extremely tender, because the thing is that both of them would have been learning about the world
together.
That's what I liked about it.
And learn about themselves, which would have made, Finn becoming a Jedi as well even better.
That's what. Yes, and what's so bizarre about that is, like, this was set up in J.J. Abrams' movie, and then and what's interesting is when we get to The Rise of Skywalker, we saw that he had no problems if he wanted to kind of throw away something that Ryan did. He would do it. He would do it. He had no problems with that. So I find it really curious. Like, he clearly knew better. He set up Finn and Rey. He knew better. He knew what an emotionally healthy relationship could look like. But he decided to go and run with Reylo. That's what makes it all the worse. It's like if it had been written, if these movies had been written by the same people who do Twilight or other things like that, that'd be one thing. It's like, oh well, at least he knew what to expect. But it's like J.J. Abrams knew better, but he went with that.
Yeah. well, to be fair, Ryan Johnson did mess it up with this.
It's too late. Don't do this.
No! I won't let them win.
No! Get to the ball. We have to break it.
I saved you. Tell me.
I saved you.
That's how we're gonna win. Not fighting what we hate. Saving what we love.
Not fighting what we hate. Thinking about what we love
and people die.
Yeah. I need to cut out most of that just to make the point when it comes to that stuff. But yeah, Ryan Johnson messed up the whole Finn and Rey thing with that.
To be perfectly honest, I wouldn't be surprised if JJ and Ryan didn't mess up anything. I wouldn't be surprised. Well, sorry, when we're talking about relationships, I would not be surprised if this was not a JJ and Ryan thing, but a Lucasfilm story team thing.
That could be.
That's
Because
true.
I would not be surprised if most of the people in that group are Twilight fans.
Well, now I'm not trying to sound sexist when I say this, but wasn't most of them women that was in the story group? Didn't they change that?
I think so. Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not trying to sound sexist when I say this, but when I was in school when Twilight came out, the only people that were raving about it were the teachers and the girls in class. I'm just saying that it was mostly women that I seen that were raving over it.
That's a fact.
Okay.
Yep.
So I'm not sexist when I say that.
Listen. I read the first 2 Twilight books. The only reason why I read 2 is because the second book is quite literally a literal quagmire.
I'm amazed you got to 2.
Hey. I mean, the first book was like the first novel was like the first novel that I had to force myself to read. Normally when I'm reading a book, it's you would have to literally rip the book from my hands to stop me from reading. When it came to, and that included novels that you had to read because of bloody school.
Mm-hmm. But this one you were begging somebody to get from your hand. I
read chapters from the Bible without stopping.
Good.
Well, it's one of the main reasons why I'm no longer Catholic.
Well.
Hey, the best way of making atheists, get Catholics or Christians to read the Bible. But yeah, no, the first Twilight book was something that I had to sort of go, okay, I need to finish this book, so I'm going to finish the chapter. I am not going to just read 5 pages and put it down. I could not do that for the second novel. Anyone that says that Twilight is well written hasn't read well written books. Because I mean, in the first book, it made me feel like the author was standing behind me and was going, oh, see this part? You're meant to be scared. Oh, that part? You're meant to be angry at that character. Okay, why am I angry? Because I wanted you to be angry. Okay, so why didn't you write something better to make me angry? But you're meant to be angry. See, I made it angry, that character. That was what it felt like reading the first book. The second book.
You need to record audiobooks, by the way. You need to record yourself reading these books. I would pay for that.
Oh, give me a book. Give me a book, and I'll see what I can do.
We'll have you read one live on the channel.
Maybe we can do sort of chapter by chapter and put it on the channel.
Hey, sounds fun. I actually like that idea.
All of this voice acting work. Wow.
Yeah, look at you.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, no. Seriously, and this goes for everyone on the stream. You know, from the sound of it, looks like I'm doing this project. So, give me a Star Wars book, and I will purchase it, and we'll go chapter by chapter.
Nice. That sounds like a plan.
but yeah, so wow, this is really gone long. But yeah, no, I'm just I just don't understand. And it feels wrong saying this, all of this simping. Because it doesn't quite work because,
One word. Edward.
Yeah, no, but I mean, the thing is that I don't understand even the simping when it comes to Adam Driver. And one of the main reasons why I really don't like using... Hey, I aesthetically, I sort of get it, but I mean, it's just sort of like, it's I just don't understand people going, oh, I like Star Wars because an actor makes me feel certain things, and I don't hang on, an actor makes me feel like I need to grab a towel and pat down a certain area. I hope that's family friendly enough. I really was struggling.
Basically, you're saying that they wanted more.
Yeah, but I mean, I wouldn't be so perplexed if they had have just gone, oh, I'm such an Adam Driver fan, and it made me feel so good watching him, and it was just so pleasurable. Hey, what were we talking about again? I get that. You're watching a movie because of an actor or an actress, and you enjoyed the movies, but to then go, I am a fan of the franchise that he's in a tiny amount of, doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. True.
If you're in it for an actor, that says that you're not in it for the franchise. You're not a fan of the franchise. You're a fan of the actor.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And of course they're going to like what the actor does, whether it's like not great or if it's mediocre or if it actually is good. Either way, they're going to like it no matter what and claim to be a fan of that franchise just because they're in it.
And actually, this really brought up something that I really feel sorry for Adam Driver.
Why?
Because Ben Solo was such a bad idea as a character. Or sorry, Kylo Ren was such a bad idea as a character.
I don't think he liked that. I don't think he liked that. He's looking at you right now. He's not happy about that.
Because I mean, the perfect example is the goddamn name of the character.
Oh man.
Yeah.
We had Psychos a while back, and now it's Sir AOAs. So.
No, but I mean, if you think about it, why would Leia and Han name their kid Ben?
I don't know, because they figured that he'd be Solo, so then he can say, "Well, I've been Solo my entire life since he was an only child. I've been Solo my entire life. I have no other siblings."
But I mean, the thing is that calling Luke's kid Ben made sense because it was Luke's mentor. In what reference, Chrono? I'll continue, and he can enlighten us on to what pointers we should be giving to Freddie Prinze Jr. But yeah,
I-
for Luke calling his kid Ben makes sense. Why? Because Obi-Wan Kenobi or Ben Kenobi was almost a surrogate father figure for Luke, so it made sense.
Mhm.
Who was Ben Kenobi to Han and Leia? Answer: the old guy that died in the
Yeah,
to Vader.
Yep.
yeah, that's true. I will say one thing before we continue. Ben was one of the original names of his kids. The only thing is, there was 3 kids. Anakin Solo, I think Jane Solo. Is that the second one? I think that's
And
what her
Jane.
name was. Is that what it was?
No. You. I think you pronounce it just in the right.
Well, okay, so he had 3 different kids. His daughter started with a J. I'm pretty sure it was.
I think you pronounced it correctly.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I got the name right. So Anakin, Jane, and Ben, but they chose Ben out of Anakin and Jane and Ben.
Hang
So,
on.
but I get what you're saying with the
Mm,
where Ben Solo, like, why would Han and Leia name their child Ben? I do get that. I'm just saying they were choosing from 3 different characters that were already in Legends.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't it Ben Skywalker, not Ben Solo?
No, Ben
Because
Solo was.
the twins,
Yeah.
the twins were
Because I thought.
Jaden and Jason, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
Oh, okay.
Hang on a second.
Maybe I'm getting my EU things mixed up.
Oh, damn it! I can't bloody type that now. Hang on a second. Okay.
I also.
Hopefully. Oh.
Was it?
Yes. Okay. Han Solo marries Princess Leia, and they have 3 children named. I'm guessing it's pronounced Jason, Jaina, and Anakin. So Jason and Jaina were the twins who were the main, who were 2 of the main characters in the.
I got things so wrong.
Young Jedi Academy, I think it was. Oh, hang on a second.
Well, I mean,
No,
hey, that's
not something being guilty, but I mean, would you honestly call yourself a Ghost in the Shell fan because you watched that movie with Scarlett Johansson in it?
I mean, me personally, I'm just kidding.
And yeah, Luke reestablishes the Jedi or marries a non-movie but fan favorite redhead force wielder named Mara Jade, and they have a son, Ben Skywalker, named in honor of Obi-Wan Ben Kenobi.
Okay, I got my EU all wrong then. I can't believe I got that wrong. I remember Jason and what was her name again? Jaina, right?
Yeah, Jaina. That's
Jaina.
That's how it's pronounced.
And Anakin Solo. Okay, I remember them now. After you've mentioned Jason, I remember now. But for the longest time, I thought it was just Ben.
No. Ben was Luke's son.
Okay. Well, that's weird. Why did they do that?
Because, as much as they said, we know Star Wars, no, they don't.
I would have rather him been Jason. Or Anakin Solo.
That would have been a little bit on the nose. To have Anakin Solo turn to the dark side. It's like, oh, bugger off.
Didn't one of them turn to the dark side though?
Jason.
Jason was. Oh, I remember now. I remember now what it was that got me thinking his name was Ben. I was watching a video a while back, and they were comparing Jason and Ben Solo, and for some reason, I think I got mixed up thinking that Ben was the original or something like that. I don't know.
If I'm correct, I think Ben Skywalker also dabbled with the dark side, but in the end became a gray Jedi because of it. But I'm not entirely sure because I didn't go deep into the EU, so I never read the actual stories. This is all me wiki diving.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's and this might be a future Star Wars topic. Well, it's definitely a suggestion, and we probably don't have enough time to really go in depth of sort of how the Star Wars trilogy, the sequel trilogy, can't be saved.
How it can't be saved?
Yeah, how it can't be saved. Not how it can, how it can't.
Okay.
Or shouldn't be.
Or shouldn't. Okay.
I don't know if that's a worthwhile topic. But Ben Solo is definitely one of the things I would bring up to sort of go, yeah, no. Especially seeing how you're hearing some of the rumors that are sort of going how Dave Filoni is going to spend time saving the sequel trilogy, and it's like
I don't think he should. I think they should just retcon it and reuse the characters for something else, or
absolutely
rename Ben to Jason, because that is a better name, especially
Hey, I mean, the thing is that if they had have done the young Jedi Academy story, have Adam Driver play Jason.
Yeah.
Hell yes.
Yes, exactly.
And maybe they can still do that. Just sort of de-age him a little bit. Not that you would have to do much.
No, not much.
And do the Jedi Academy story a little bit. Maybe have some teenage actors for the first movie, and then have Jason and Jaden, Adam Driver and don't know who else, in sort of like the second and third movies.
Yeah.
Give him a better story. And hell. Oh, that's it. Oh. Ooh. That would be interesting. Oh.
It is interesting.
No.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
No. No, the reason my brain's just gone, oh shit. And sorry about the swearing. But in one of the Young Jedi Academy books, Jason finds a crashed TIE fighter. And so he starts repairing it and actually installing a hyperdrive on it. Hence why I know that hyperdrives aren't expensive.
Yeah, true.
But he also meets the pilot of that TIE fighter. Now, just imagine you do the Jedi Academy story, and the pilot of that TIE fighter was Finn.
That would be cool.
I know.
That would be cool. Oh my goodness, I didn't think about that. That was awesome.
And you can have Rey as one of the other trainees.
Yeah.
And now in the story of the book, the pilot actually takes the repaired TIE fighter and hyperdrives out to rejoin the remnant of the Empire. But I think it would be a much cooler story if actually you make Rey a trainer. But it would probably be a cooler story if Finn, the crashed TIE fighter pilot, would then join the Jedi Academy. Because the Jedi Academy was on Yavin 4. And that would give such a better story than what we got in the sequel trilogy.
Yeah. Speaking of. Yep. That's all I got to say about it.
So, actually, hey, getting back to the original question. So, there really is no explanation besides they're just not fans.
Yeah. They're not fans. They're
okay,
normies.
cool.
They're normies.
Yeah, because it's it is sort of really strange. No, actually, I'm just gonna leave that there because
I mean, some of them that talk like they're fans, they have like some decent knowledge of what has been shown on TV or in a movie or whatever. But the way to really know the Star Wars, if they are a Star Wars fan, is if they know the lore, like that isn't shown in visual media.
Yeah.
Like if they spent the time to research all that stuff, they have some sort of dedication. And not to say that there ain't some Star Wars fans out there that do believe that the sequel trilogy is superior, yet have some understanding of the lore, but that's not as common. I wouldn't say it would be anyway.
No, because I mean the thing is that the same thing happened with Arrow.
Yeah.
I watched it from the very first season, and this was before it leaned very heavily into the more comic book stuff. But I went, hang on a second, this is Green Arrow. This is not Arrow, this is Green Arrow. I see what they're doing. I like it. But the thing is that, you know, I was very much waiting for Black Canary and Arrow because that's how it's meant to be. It's been since those characters were kind of invented type of situation. And what did we get instead? We got Arrow and Felicity. And why did we get that? Because of Tumblr, essentially.
Really?
Well, it was to satisfy all the people that watch the CW, not all of the DC fans.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that you know, the DC fans would probably, you know, go and download Arrow, where the CW fans would watch it on CW.
Yeah.
Thus, it made more money for CW if those fans were placated than the DC fans.
Yeah.
So we got Oliver Queen and Felicity instead of the established relationship of Oliver Queen and Black Canary. And it was doubly as crap when they killed Black Canary.
I just don't. Yeah,
you can tell the point that I stopped watching Arrow.
Yeah, I could see.
Which was a shame because I've forgotten the actor's name now.
I don't know. I haven't watched Arrow.
Hang on a second, looking it up. Would help if I typed it in correctly. There we go. Stephen Amell, that's it.
Good job.
For some reason, Henry kept on jumping in my head, but that's completely different superhero.
Yes, completely different.
And actually, talking about a lack of creativity, what they're doing to Superman.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't have much to say about that.
Oh, no, there's plenty. Well, actually, there's really not much to be actually said. It's just sort of, other than no.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's silly.
Look, if you want to change his race, that's up to you, but don't complain when it's not when it's not well received.
Yeah, and it definitely won't be. And I mean, what's worse is that there is actually a, black Superman. It's just that Superman isn't Clark Kent.
No. I mean, they can create other characters and put like a focus on them. And you know what? They can have a black character in there. They don't need to change an established character. That's the problem.
No, they don't. But as Chrono said, it's called a lack of creativity.
Yeah. They have a lack of creativity, so they try to make up for it with virtue signaling points, basically.
But yeah, absolutely. But do you know what place doesn't have a lack of creativity?
What place?
Japan and anime.
True, they are very creative with what they do.
Mainly because they look at the woke scolds and go, "Yeah, we're not listening to you. We're just going to create awesome stuff."
True.
Yeah, I mean that's why a lot of people have probably went to anime. I think anime sold more, or manga, not anime, but mangas sold more than comic books this year.
Easily, yeah, like double. I think it was. Yeah, I think one of the comic books. I think one of the mangas. I think Demon Slayer, pretty much came close to beating the entirety of the Western comic book market. But
wow,
yeah,
I didn't know the numbers, but I knew there was a big gap there. I didn't know.
I don't know if Demon Slayer actually defeated collectively the entire Western market. But manga definitely did. It wasn't even a race.
No. I mean, with what I've been hearing about the comic industry of the current comic industry, I can see why it's been beaten out by mangas. So,
absolutely. Because the thing is that go.
I was just gonna say that I have the entire Naruto collection of mangas, and they're really good. I haven't gotten through all of them, but they're really good. And I've read comics before. I'm not big into reading comics, but I have read a few, and the ones I have read did not intrigue me as much as Naruto had. Which I'm a Naruto fan anyway, so I guess I might be a little biased, but I'm just saying I like mangas better personally.
And the rest of American geek culture agrees with you.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Um,
It's not an isolated incident.
no.
They,
Uh,
they should be looking at Japan and being like, "What are you guys doing right that we're not doing?"
well, it's easy. It's called creating art, not propaganda.
That's a good way to put it. I like that.
Yep.
Well, it's exactly what it is. When you put, see, the thing is that, and this is something that was pointed out to me by a YouTuber. It'll take me a while to find them again. But the thing is that art is a question, not an answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you are creating art with an answer, that's called propaganda, not art.
Yep.
And the thing is that that's what a lot of the Western creative scene is doing. Not all of it, but
the most, like, the biggest parts of it are. That's the problem.
Well, all the biggest parts in America.
Yeah. I mean, the people that feel like they have a huge platform that want to push their politics on other people or their propaganda, they want to use that platform they have as basically a soapbox to spread their beliefs on everybody else and try to indoctrinate them.
Because I don't want to say all of Western media, because CT Project Red well and truly told the woke skulls to really jump a cliff.
I mean, not everybody, but it's like some of the biggest ones, though. Is what I was saying.
Yeah. Well, CD Projekt Red is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah, and they got themselves in trouble, though. So I don't know if you want to give them. I don't know if you want to mention them or not. They got themselves in trouble by pushing out something that wasn't ready, basically. And they've been
but that's a big difference. That's a big difference of pushing out a bad product to, creating propaganda.
Oh yeah,
they're not creating propaganda; they're creating art. When
it
comes to art, there is such thing as bad art.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So, but the thing is that it is still art. Why? Because they're asking a question, not giving you the answer. And unfortunately, that's sort of what a lot in the Western side of creativity is doing. It's trying to push a message, not just create art.
And the other thing, because I think the anticipated reply to what you're saying, which I think makes sense, would be, well, like, oh, all art is propaganda, all art has a message. And to that, I would say, first of all, I think your distinction between presenting a question versus an answer is a good one. Another thing to just say is that, well, yes, that's true. The difference being is, it's like saying, oh, literature is political or whatever. It's okay, but the difference is it's good. It's a good story if you are able to take that story and you're able to apply it to different contexts, to different times and places and situations, and see connections between that. But if you've crafted the story as such that you have it that the bad guys are these specific people and the good guys are these specific people, and it can only be that those individuals for that time and place. You get what I mean? Where it's so
Mm-hmm.
it's so limited. I don't have words at the moment, but I think you expressed it better with kind of the question, presenting a question versus an answer.
Well, see, the thing is that this is going to be a bit ham-fisted and just with no subtlety, but sort of going, let's just say you create a game where the question is sort of, is gun control good or bad? That allows you to write so many different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
It allows you to write someone who bought a gun to rob something. It allows you to write a scenario where someone bought a gun for defending the house, but then they decide to use it to rob something because loss of money or something like that, or someone bought a gun to rob something, but they ended up using it to defend somebody, just to completely reverse the bad to good type situation, or they bought a gun for house safety and they saved someone. If you were ever only going to do guns were bad type of situation,
Mm-hmm.
you would go for the absolute worst scenario. It would pretty much funnel you into one story, which would be sort of like, oh, you bought a gun to defend your house and your kid grabbed it and shot himself.
Yeah.
See, guns are bad. Or the kid grabs the gun, goes to school and shoots everyone. Guns are bad. See?
Or you can make it about video games and causing violence, since you brought that one up. Sort of.
Except the simple fact of the matter is that studies upon studies upon studies upon studies prove that to be absolutely and completely utterly false.
Well, we know that, but
anyone making that argument and going, oh, I like science. No, you don't.
see, there's still people that think that, though. That's the problem.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, that's the difference between sort of messages and questions. Questions still can be quote unquote political, but it's a political theme, not being political. Those are two different things.
Yeah.
And actually, YouTuber and former game journalist Liana Kirshner did a great video on her realization of why everyone kept on saying get politics out of video games. Because she was very much in the same boat as a lot of people but there are politics always in video games. But she came to realize that it's not so much the political themes, but the get messages out of video games and just do questions.
Yeah.
But there are actually better videos that better YouTube videos that do that just set it all out in a very digestible way.
Yeah.
But actually, that's a question. Shade.
What?
What other anime do you like?
Oh,
manga.
Well, I'm going to throw out probably one that I haven't really gotten to yet, but I want to. My Hero Academia. I want to get to it. I haven't. I've watched the show, and I enjoy the show for the most part. So I'd like to read the manga. I've got a few of them. I don't have all of them.
What episode / season are you up to, or you
I
watched
am
all of it?
almost done with season 4.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, I was watching season 4 as it came out, but I just sort of stopped because when it comes to anime, I like to sort of binge watch. That's how I finished Naruto. I just binge watched it, which I had to take breaks, of course, because it's such a long show. 700 episodes. Well, technically, it's 2 different shows, but 700 episodes of Naruto, and not including the movies that also came out. I had to binge watch all that, so I sort of gave up on My Hero Academia to watch Naruto since it was finished.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to binge watch. So if I find something, I'll binge watch it for the most part.
Well, unfortunately, I can't sort of say whether My Hero Academia sticks to the original. Sticks to the original story.
It really don't.
I know. I've got no idea. I don't read manga.
Oh. Well, I also like Sword Art Online. I've finished.
Oh.
Look, I know how everybody feels about it, and I understand, but there are some parts in the show that I actually really like. So it's also one that sort of pushed me into liking manga, or not manga, but anime in general. I mean, technically, my first anime was the 1968 Speed Racer.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched it forever ago, like when I was really young, and I have the entire series. I have the whole thing, but that right there is what got me into anime in the first place. But I wasn't like really big into it, and at the time, I didn't know that was anime. I thought it was just a cartoon because I was so young. I didn't understand. But after a while, I understood what it was, and then I seen Sword Art Online, watched it, and it got me thinking: are there more animes out there that are like this or better than this? So I would go look. Log Horizon was, I think, the next one I went to. I haven't finished it yet, unfortunately, though.
Yeah. I'm really hoping they're going to continue it because
I don't think I ever started. See, I started Log Horizon about around the time, I think, not that it came out, but as it was coming out, and I got to where it ended in season 1, and I think it started season 2, and that's where I stopped, and I haven't been back to watch it in a while.
No, yeah, they're up to season 3 now. Season 3 has ended. But yeah, no, it is definitely a fun.
I do like it.
Actually, another anime that you might like is Danmachi.
What is that one?
It's a fantasy. A lot of people incorrectly associate it. So Danmachi, it's wrong to pick up. Is it wrong to pick up girls in a dungeon?
I know what it is now. Yeah, that's right. I know what it is now. I haven't watched it, but I know of it.
It's a really good anime. They're up to 3 seasons.
Okay.
It's just a hell of a lot of fun.
I've also watched Parasite, which was insane. I like it, but man, that was an insane one right there. Let me think. Anahana, I haven't finished it. It's on Netflix though, but I liked it. I think I'm on the 11th episode.
Well,
think.
Commander Tano is anime something you're into?
I don't.
Sorry, my mic had some issues.
Oh.
I am really not familiar with it. I'm kind of ashamed of myself for that. So this conversation is interesting to listen to.
Well, Sir AOA is probably the one to go to if you want to know what to watch.
The first one that I always suggest that people watch first, Cowboy Bebop.
All right.
Cowboy Bebop is one of if you sort of ask anyone that's watched a whole lot of anime, sort of the greatest anime in existence, Cowboy Bebop should be at the top of their list. And if it isn't, it's probably because they haven't seen it. And if they haven't seen it, there's something wrong with them.
Way to call me out.
It's one of the few, and it's funny enough. It's actually one of the few animes that the anime purists will go, "Oh yeah, no, you have to watch the dub."
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
The dub's really good.
The dub is very good.
Well, I'm going to watch it eventually. That's one that's on my list.
It should be at the top of your list.
I've been meaning to get to it. I really have. I ain't got to it though. That's the problem.
No, see. The thing is that it's very easy for new people to get into anime. It's not too weird. It's very much centered around the characters, and each character has sort of a moment in the sun type situation. There is a underlying story to the entire season, but it's not connected. So you could quite literally jump into the middle of Cowboy Bebop and still feel like you're not missing out on anything. But the action's great, the animation's great, the stories are great, the soundtrack is amazing.
Oh, if the soundtrack is good, I'm in for it because I love listening to soundtracks from movies and stuff like that. I just love it.
The opening theme is a really great. Don't know if you would call it a big band jazz song.
It sounds like from what I've seen of the show, what you're describing sounds like what I imagined it to be.
But I mean, the thing is that what's actually really funny is that really cool is that the soundtrack never really stays the same. So they don't just have jazz music for everything. They also have rock, and they keep it varied. And funny enough, all of the titles for all the different episodes are very sort of music based.
Yeah.
Without being obnoxious. So it's not like the music is the driving factor of the episodes. But it just really sort of has a great vibe which the music enhances. So yeah, no, absolutely, definitely a anime that you if you've never seen any anime, that's probably a great entry. Another is definitely Ghost in the Shell. But I wouldn't. Ghost in the Shell is definitely not the first anime that I would show you, but it's definitely the first one after you've got your feet wet.
Got it. Good to know.
Well, because the thing is that Ghost in the Shell. Well, let's just say Ghost in the Shell helped or did the same work that Star Wars did for a lot of directors. For example, no Ghost in the Shell, no Matrix.
Oh, I get what you're saying now. It was the catalyst for some of those things, is what you're saying.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And the fact that Hollywood stuffed up the bloody movie so badly is such an absolute crime.
Well, me personally, and like I said, I've never watched Ghost in the Shell, but I'm planning on doing that at some point, I think. But I enjoyed the movie, but that's because I had no prior knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah, but
funny enough. When it comes to the movie, the less you knew about the source material, the better you enjoyed the movie.
I mean, it's not one that I planned on rewatching a lot, but it wasn't a bad movie as far as like how it was made and all that stuff. I thought it was pretty enjoyable, but as I've said, no prior knowledge. So
yeah. To put it really simply, they did a lot of fan baiting with a lot of the scenes and a lot of the material.
Yeah.
But they did it out of context. They did it out of context to where it was. So it was very jarring for people that were fans of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
And the original Ghost in the Shell movie didn't have any RoboCop questions.
Yeah.
Pretty much they ripped out all of what made Ghost in the Shell great to tell female RoboCop.
I can see that.
And yeah. So everyone that enjoyed the movie, no hate sent type of situation.
That's because I'm here. I see what it is.
No. It was one of those sort of situations of sitting and just having that little part of my brain that sort of goes, okay, so what would I think if I didn't know anything? Yeah, no, I would thoroughly enjoy this movie.
Yeah.
But sort of having the context of what everything meant just absolutely ruined it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons why it didn't make any money.
Well, aside from Ghost in the Shell, I'll give you a couple of suggestions myself. Death Note being probably one of my favorites that I've ever watched. I don't know how you feel about Death Note. I love Death Note.
Oh, it was great.
It's a shorter one. It's 2 seasons. That's why I recommend it. I would recommend, like, I know I talk about Naruto a lot, because I really do like Naruto. But if I were to recommend an anime to somebody, I would want them to get their feet wet first. So I wouldn't send them one like One Piece or Naruto. That's like over. Well, Naruto's 700 episodes. I think One Piece is over 1,000. I would not. I would not send you to either of those.
Got
To
it.
try out. Yeah. Death Note is only 2 seasons. It's not that long, but it is amazing. The second season, in my opinion, ain't as good, but it is still like the end. In my opinion, is satisfying. So
It's probably not an anime that I would send a new person to.
really,
No.
it was one of the first few that I ever watched, and I enjoyed it. But
It's not so much that they won't enjoy it type of situation, but it does definitely depend on the person.
that's true.
Because it's a lot deeper. See, I mean, the thing is that I would not send people to Neo Genesis Evangelion as their first anime, even though that was my first anime. Mainly because it's pretty in depth and pretty sort of philosophical.
Mm-hmm.
Which is what I would say with Death Note as well. But I mean, it all completely depends. See, if you were to go to Cowboy Bebop and then go to Ghost in the Shell and still like where Ghost in the Shell was going, then yeah, Death Note, Neo Genesis Evangelion are definitely animes that would sort of be given to you next. Especially if you go through all of the movies of Ghost in the Shell and then all of the series Ghost in the Shell.
Mm-hmm.
If you can get your teeth through all that, then absolutely Death Note, Neo Genesis, and all those type of situations. But yeah, I wouldn't put Death Note as high on the list if you're new to anime.
Okay, well, see, I'm still relatively new. I'm getting there, but where it was one of the first few I watched, I just automatically assumed that it would be okay for everybody else. But you're probably more seasoned in this than I am, so
Hey, it definitely does depend on the person.
that's true. But
and actually, Commander Tano might actually jump in feet first on it quite easily.
maybe. I mean, I believe she would like that one. It's a darker one for sure. But I mean, if you like the kind of dark philosophical stuff, then that would probably be one to watch at some point at least. The last
unfortunately, I couldn't get past season 1 of Death Note.
Really?
There was just a character in it that just
Misa Amane?
Yeah.
I love how I knew that. I just love it.
And the thing is
I can see it though.
Hey, it's not that I hated the character or anything like that, but there was just
she's just a little bit annoying.
No, actually, it had nothing to do with annoying.
Really?
Yeah, no. It was something completely else. But because of it, I just could not sit there and watch. And it was kind of it's kind of one of the main reasons why I never sort of got into Sword Art Online.
Oh.
Besides the very fact that it would make a terrible video game.
Yeah. Especially the part where you die if you die. So
well, not even that. That's the thing. That's the thing. It would be a terrible video game, and besides the fact that you could die, sorry, spoiler warning.
You learn it in the first episode anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I know. But yeah, no, it would have been a terrible video game.
Yeah.
Removing the fact that and someone actually made a video pointing out the simple fact that the writer knows nothing about video games.
That's what it seemed like. Like I said, I enjoyed the show, but I seen so many things and I'm like, that's not how a game works. That's not how dying in a video game works. You can't just will your character to come back to life. That's sort of a spoiler, but I'm not saying anything.
Oh.
That's
No,
a bit
but
of a spoiler, but it's not too much of one.
It's not even that. It's also the simple fact that you know, it's playing video games is all about fast reactions, and it's like, no, it's not. It's actually all knowledge based.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of like you know, chess on crack. You're not just playing 4D chess, you're playing 4D chess on 10 different game boards. Welcome to video games.
Well, before we get any further into that, because this is going to take us down a rabbit hole, and I am not making this a 4-hour stream. There was one other I wanted to suggest, and it's not technically an anime that I'm suggesting, but it is a live action adaptation to one that is actually really good, and I know you enjoy it. It's Alita Battle Angel. I think they did do like an anime adaptation to the manga, but
yeah, no, they did. That's actually one of the main reasons why it was so. That's why one of the main reasons why the movie was so well received was because, you know, it didn't do one for one, but it, you know, stayed faithful.
Yeah, it's such a good movie. I've watched it multiple times. I enjoy it. The CGI in it is the best I've ever seen in a movie. I mean, if I were to recommend any kind of live action adaptation to an anime in general, that one would be it. It also came out on my birthday, which makes it a special movie for me.
There you go.
Okay. Me and my sister went and watched it on my birthday, and it was the best thing ever. I loved it. But yeah,
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry. This is jumping off topic. So if you still need to finish something,
I don't think so. I'm just saying, watch Alita Battle Angel and Death Note. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay. Talking about adaptions.
Oh, don't get me started on that now.
Hang on. You know they're doing an adaptation of Borderlands.
Oh, really?
Have you guys played Borderlands?
No.
I have played Borderlands 3 and dabbled a slight bit in the first one. I've never really been into Borderlands as much. I had a friend that was really into it, and I played it with him, and I grew to enjoy it when I was playing it with him, but the story never really invested me at the time.
Okay. They've done some casting.
Uh-huh.
Do you know who Roland is?
I don't think so. I don't think so. At least I'm better with faces than I am with names. If I seen the face, I could probably tell you.
He was one of the characters in the first Borderlands game.
Oh, well, that I probably
he was
don't
one
know.
of the. See, this is the problem. He was one of the original player characters in the first Borderlands game, and you know he was the typical sort of hulking soldier type character. You know, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh wait, hang on a second. Think Hunter, just black.
Oh, Hunter from the Bad Batch here.
Yes, yeah.
Just black.
So
Okay.
not Wrecker,
Hunter.
but think Hunter.
Okay.
So he wasn't skinny or anything like that. And he was quite tall. And actually he got into a relationship with one of the other player characters.
Mm-hmm.
And they hired Kevin Hart to play him.
So let me get this straight. So let's imagine that Hunter from the Bad Batch is black, and thinking of a character like Hunter, and then thinking of Kevin Hart. I mean, just imagining Kevin Hart being Hunter in the Bad Batch is funny enough, but
and the thing is that using the Bad Batch image in front of us, Kevin Hart's 5 foot.
He's short.
So think Hunter, but
shorter.
Using the image in front of us, just replace where Omega's standing with the same height. Now, in the first, in the canon, Roland is meant to be in a relationship with Lilith.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. They've got Kate Blanchett as Lilith.
Oh no.
I don't know how tall she is in feet, but she's 174 centimeters, which I think is like 5'10".
Oh gosh, she'd practically be slightly taller than me. I'm like 5'9".
Well then maybe I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah, 5 foot, and then okay, yeah.
And Roland was meant to be taller than Lilith.
Well, that's an interesting, interesting casting choice there.
And funny enough, Twitter kind of agrees. It's sort of like,
well,
what the hell?
When even Twitter, like,
yeah, there's something wrong when Twitter starts agreeing that something's wrong.
And I mean, the thing is that I would not be surprised if Kevin Hart would be able to play it. Being a sort of gruff soldier type of situation.
But I feel like they'll just change his character a little bit to fit Kevin Hart's acting style.
Persona? Yeah. That's what everyone's a little bit worried about. But I'm sort of going, how does this work when everyone is a good head taller than the soldier type character? What's wrong with your mic, Tano?
I don't know what's wrong with my mic. Actually, my battery's low. I just realized.
Well, no, it's just all through the stream. There's just been periods of rustling and
I thought it was static.
no, it was rustling, as in something was brushing over the mic.
Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? If it's honestly, if it's static, it could be like I'm not in kind of my usual. I don't have my normal internet right now, so maybe that's
Oh,
part.
okay.
Who knows?
Okay. Yeah, who knows? That could be what it is.
Oh.
Well, I want to try to end this at least at the 3rd hour. So if you got anything else you want to say about this, you can go ahead and say it. But I'm going to try to end this at the 3rd hour.
Actually, there is one thing.
Okay.
Have you downloaded Squadrons yet?
No. Are you talking on PlayStation, right? I have not been on my PlayStation since about 2 days ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been. Look, like I was telling Commander Tano before the stream, I've been having to go to work at 5. Get up for work at 5 in the morning, and I've been trying to fix my sleeping schedule. So I've not been on my PlayStation for like the last couple of days because I just wanted to get to sleep. I'm telling you, waking up at 5 in the morning is not easy. It is something for me to get used to. The weird thing is, like before that, I was waking up at 6 in the morning because my schedule was set different at the place I work at. It was set different, so I got to sleep till 6 in the morning. And it's only changed by an hour, and I'm having the hardest time getting used to it. I don't know what it is. I was okay with the 6 o'clock, but the 5 o'clock is just different.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've been trying to adjust my sleeping schedule.
I did an apprenticeship pastry chef, and yeah, no, that meant really early morning wake ups, especially seeing how I had to travel by public transport.
That will do it.
Yep. Definitely adds time. So yeah, no, I get the getting up early in the morning.
Yeah.
Also doesn't help when you have a full house and people want to make noise at 10 p.m. at night, and you've got to get up at 5 or 6.
Well, I've sort of mastered the art of sleeping in noisy situations, so that doesn't bother me much anymore. But I am a light sleeper, so if I do hear a noise after I've fallen asleep, I'll probably end up waking up.
Commander Tano, what games do you play?
I actually really don't. It's like I've got plenty of friends who do, so it's like I have some like, what's the word? Literacy almost, like in these conversations. That like it's like I can understand. I know what people are talking about. I know what people get outraged.
But you've not experienced it.
Yeah. I experience it vicariously through others.
Secondhand experience.
We need to get her on a Battlefield game.
Yeah, Battlefield.
Sorry, Battlefront.
Oh well, Battlefield too.
You know, part of the thing is why I just really haven't gotten into gaming is like I have no manual decks. Well, I do for certain things, but not that. I just feel like I'm like would just be terrible at it, and it's more of like, yeah.
Well, you see, the thing is that it doesn't matter in Star Wars. Is it Battlefront or Battlefield? I keep on getting those mixed up.
Battlefront. It's Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. You just spawn back in and then go charging in.
You just try and try again till you get it right.
Well, you either try, you try and try again until you capture that point, brothers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, capturing that command post. Yeah, we'll have to get you a console and get you a Battlefront.
Sounds like a plan.
Excellent.
Is there anything you wanted to talk about briefly? Huh?
Actually, Commander Tano, how good is your PC?
I just have my MacBook. It's alive.
It's alive.
How old is it?
No, it's doing well. It's very healthy.
Very healthy. That's the best response I've ever heard.
Because what I'm thinking, I don't know if MacBooks can do this. But
you know what? Just get Lego Star Wars from Steam. Play Lego Star Wars.
Or
game
Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Yeah, that too. Hey, that's actually a really good one. It's not like one of those fast paced. You have to be faster than the other person to win type of thing. It's just a story game. That's something that I would probably recommend to a newcomer. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a friend who's been trying to get me to do that. So this is probably a sign I should.
Not Knights of the Old Republic, but the Old Republic, the MMO.
Oh, the MMO? I haven't played it. I don't think.
Well, you know what I think? I think we need to get on, all three of us, get on a stream, because I haven't played it either. And we all experience it together.
Nice.
That would be pretty nice. Though I'll probably let you stream it, Sir Lay, because my internet ain't good enough to stream games, much less videos. I can only do like those small video clips because they're uploaded to the site. That's it.
All good, no worries.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. There we go. Forced Collective. There we go. Collective. We've got a new show coming up. Stay tuned.
Yes, stay tuned for our next program. All right. Is there anything you want to talk about briefly, Commander Tano? Because it's been mainly me and him, and you've just been listening. So do you have anything you want to talk about or say?
Well, I've enjoyed listening, but also I feel like I had my share of rants earlier, so I am glutted on rants, and yeah, I'm happy.
Okay. We didn't make you spit out any tea or anything this time, right? You've been good with your tea today, right?
Yeah, no worries about the tea.
Okay. All right. Well, since it is approaching the third hour, I'm going to go ahead and start the forever long outro that I seem to do every single time. And then proceed to get distracted doing said outro and going on for another 10 minutes, then getting back to it. So I'm going to go ahead and get started.
You've got 2 minutes. Quick, get it under. Yeah. Get it under.
All right. We have a Discord. I'm going to put it in the description. I forgot to do that, but I'm going to edit this video or the stream's description and put it in there. But basically, if you haven't joined the Discord, what are you doing with your life? Just as Psycho would say. So, join the Discord. We have lots of fun on there. We post memes of Anakin killing younglings in sand, all the time. You don't want to miss that. We also just have fun little discussions and stuff like that. Me and my cousin do some weird things, all of that kind of stuff. I've already said this on previous streams. I'm not going back into that one again. Shut up. I know what you're going to say. Don't say it. Don't you say it. Don't. I know what you're going to say. Stop it. I'm leaving it at that. if you
Good
aren't
lad.
part of the Discord, you should join the Discord. It's fun. It's fun. Also, you can follow me on Twitter at TFC_Star Wars. You can also follow Commander Tano on Twitter at Lady Tano501st. Am I right? I'm right?
Yep,
Yes.
you are.
All right. Okay. And at Sir AOA, well, it's at Sir A_O_A. Am I right?
You missed the first underscore.
Oh, it was Sir_A_O_A. Okay. Okay, that's what it is. So yeah, you can follow us on our social medias. That would be nice. Also, if you liked the stream or just like the channel in general, you can subscribe, you can leave a like, leave a comment, give me suggestions on what to do. I know I've said this before and I'm actually working on it, but I'm going to be having another video out on Monday. I'm going to actually start getting those videos back out. I've been trying to fix some problems with my computer. Still haven't fixed it, but I can record videos with sound, apparently. I just can't hear it through my computer when I'm recording, which is odd, but I did test it out and it does work. So I just got to start recording again. So yeah, I'm going to get back to that. Also, it has been great having everybody on here. I've lost all ability to speak English for a second there.
3-hour madness.
Huh?
3-hour madness.
Yeah. I did forget one thing in the stream, which I didn't technically forget it. I didn't technically forget it because I just now remembered it, but I have to play that at least once a stream. So, yeah, I always
Probably
go down.
really
to
wasn't
that
an
archive.
opportunity.
I don't think we did create an opportunity. Actually, no, we might have created one that could have branched off. If I remember right, it could have branched off into that, but we just didn't go down that route. So I guess we did, but didn't. Either way, I still had to play it. Yes, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you all for joining the stream, guys. I really appreciate having you on here. It's unfortunate that Psycho wasn't able to be here for the full stream, but he did get to show up. He had been on a trip. So, he's probably tired and whatever it was that he was going to the doctor for, he hopefully will feel better. Let's just hope that he does. And everything should go back to normal starting next week, I'd say, with me doing videos on Monday and streams on Thursday. I'm still trying to work my schedule out because they've changed my schedule at work. And I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to do that. So I will have everything figured out, though. But thank you, Commander Tano and Sir AOA, for joining tonight. It's been awesome.
No worries.
Thank you for having us.
Oh yeah, and also, tweet what books. I will so get on to that.
Oh,
sounds like fun.
Oh yes. You know what?
Star Wars books. Star Wars books. I should probably preface that.
Before I end the stream, I'll just go ahead and ask, do you want to do it on a stream or do you want to do it as a video? Because we can do it as a video as well.
I would probably...
We can do a video for like so many chapters and then post that.
Probably would want to start it with videos until at least until I get into the rhythm, I guess you could say.
Okay, that works. We'll figure it out, but that sounds like something that we should do. But yeah, tweet out to either me or Sir AOA, probably Sir AOA because he'll be the one doing it. Tweet out to him what books you would want to hear him read. I'll give you suggestions as well if I ever think of a good one. I mean, I've already got a good one in mind. What was it called? Plagueis, the book about Plagueis. That one is a really good book. I would like to hear you read that one. That one's a pretty good one.
Okay. Well, we'll get a list happening. We'll get a list happening, and then we can poll it, and then
Well, Was it Commander Tano?
I was saying I was hoping for something from the High Republic.
Oh, well, you know what? Maybe we should do that.
That would be funny.
Okay, yeah, no, cool.
You can give us some of your creative input, Soraya Way. Yes.
It would be sort of like, and the chapter ends. Oh, thank God! I'm indeed.
You'll just read it normally and not say a single word. Then right after you end the chapter, and you'll be like, now ends chapter 1, and then there'll be a long pause, and then all we hear is a long sigh of relief. Ah, finally!
Something like that.
Gosh, I didn't think I'd make it.
Well, we'll just have to find out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, still give a we'll do a list. We'll then do a poll, and if the High Republic books get the voting, we're doing the High Republic. The High Republic.
Somebody was high when they were writing it if they thought Geode would be a good idea. But I respect Geode as a rock, I guess.
As a performer and an actor, we respect Geode.
Geode was underutilized as as we're all sequel characters.
Oh man! All right. Like I said, it would almost be about 10 minutes of us ending the video or stream and getting distracted, or mostly me getting distracted. So we're going to go ahead and end it. Like I said, thank you guys for watching, and thank you all for being on here. It's been a pleasure. I hope everybody has a good night, and may the Force be with you always. I forgot where my outro was. That's terrible. Oh, here it is. Okay, now we're gone. Goodbye.
Sector.